Well, for more insight into this development, Ufeli, legal expert, joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, we've seen the details released by the presidency on oil derivation refunds paid to oil-producing states. But how significant are these payments amid growing controversy that the funds had been misused by some governments in the region?
Yes, it is clear that most governors in this region have not utilized these funds well, and that is why the president is making it known to the public. And this information is very fundamental. I mean, the president is doing a good job by exposing these governors. Take Delta State, for example. Delta State and Akwa Ibom State that got the huge chunk of the said funds. If you go to the local government areas and go to the states and look at the states in general, you ask yourself, whether this amount of money really passed through the governors of these states. I mean, for the Niger Delta State was 600 billion plus, okay? And you see the level of poverty in this state, the level of degradation, hunger, and insecurity in these areas. It is mind-boggling. It tells you that our governors, our politicians, have no conscience whatsoever, because take my area, for example, in Ndokwa area. There is no development whatsoever there in Delta State. Three higher institutions were converted to university. None was in Ndokwa area. And even those that were converted are not properly funded. The roads are not well constructed. And in some places, there are no roads at all. In the hinterlands, we have a lot of issues. There are no lights. No public health care facility. All the public health care facilities are under lock and key in Ndokwa land and in most areas of Delta State. So now, where did this money go to? And at the tail end of this administration, the Delta State Governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, is busy borrowing money. He's still borrowing money. I mean, all that. We don't know where these funds are being taken to. We don't know which parts of the state is being developed, because Delta State, apart from maybe his first tenure, where he managed to tire some and reconstructed some roads, his second tenure, he has not done much at all. And the funds that he has received in his second tenure far much outweigh what he got in the first tenure. And the federal government is saying this clearly. They have
now, sorry to interrupt you there. If these allegations are true, how then, what mechanism do you think must be put in place to make sure that these governors are actually held accountable? But I'm not talking about EFCC, who comes in, you know, when the governor must have left office. While the governor is in office, what mechanism is in place to ensure that these governors are held accountable and these funds are used for what it's given?
The mechanism that is supposed to be in place to check is the State House of Assembly. But the State House of Assembly we have today, they don't do their jobs. They are just an appendage of the governor. You see, the current speaker, is he not the one that the governor is anointing now to take over from him? Okay, so the State House of Assembly is subservient to the governor, the executive, and that is where the problem is. Ordinarily, it is the State House of Assembly that's supposed to oversight these funds as they are transmitted from the federal government to the state government. That's the unit. Now, that State House of Assembly that's supposed to do the job have been compromised a long time ago. They work in cahoots with the governor to deprive the good people of Delta State the resources that belongs to them. And at the end of the day, what you have is complete mess up of what governance should be. Everything is run down, and the people are the ones suffering this. We have checks, but these checks have been eroded by the executive. So what you now have is just a situation where they just gang up, collect the funds, mismanage the funds, and leave the people in utter distress. And enough is enough of this, because, I mean, the president is saying this now so that we can hold them to account. I mean, the EFCC you mentioned can only start the operation after the tenure of the governors and the members of the State House of Assembly. because they too are in cahoots with the executive. And this is a criminal conspiracy to keep the people down and dejected while their resources is mismanaged and diverted, and there is nothing to write them about and no account whatsoever. And most times they get away with it. So this is the problem that we have, especially in Delta State, where you don't have any level of development. And you see, the issue is that the people at some point will have to come out and say enough is enough. Because, I mean, since the people that they voted in power to represent them, that is the State House of Assembly members, who are a conglomeration of people from different constituency and local government that represent the entire state, since they are unable to do the job, it is high time the people will step forth. The people will step forth into the arena of conflict and make a demand from the governor and the State House of Assembly and all leaders and all commissioners of that state to give account of their stewardship, what they have done so far with over 600 and something billion.
Well, definitely, Evans. The question of accountability from government keeps coming up over and over again. But Evans Ufeli, legal experts, thank you very much for your time and your contribution on News Now.